The Vikings, also known as the Northmen. These were the most feared warriors of that time. These guys were brutal, fierce warriors, but they also had some pretty insane weapons. In today's video, I'm going to show you these weapons. I'm going to show you what they're capable of doing. And trust me, you want to watch this one to the end, because this is going to be not only educational, but this is going to be brutal, violent, and just plain awesome. Yeah. The Viking sword was its main weapon, and we're going to show you just what this thing will do to a ballistic torso. So this one's going to be pretty cool. Viking sword versus ballistic head, but instead of cutting it this way, we're going to try and cut it horizontally in half. Yeah. So everybody knows the swords and axes cut and slice, but there was another badass weapon, the battle hammer. This thing was brutal. It did not cut, it did not slice, it just smashed and obliterated things. These things were really feared, and they did some serious damage, I'll tell you. He's like, you must be Ragnar Lothbrok. Watermelon. That was pretty cool. Now time to eat. Man, that was brutal as hell. Hitting that watermelon was almost like a head exploding. You know what? That gives me an idea. Why don't we Gallagher a ballistic dummy head with this thing and really see what it's capable of doing? Yeah. We've hit all kinds of things with the battle hammer here. Now we're gonna do a ballistic head from Ballistic Dummy Lab. This should be good. I'm gonna give this one everything I got. Pretend that these 55-gallon drums of plastic drums, those are bodies out in a battle scene. I'm going to show you just how brutal this thing was. Let the battle begin. I just want to show you guys how hard the battle hammer really hits compared to a baseball bat. That was a few hits with the battle hammer. Now we're going to hit this one with a baseball bat. Big difference. That battle hammer is brutal. Look at that. Barely knocked it over, and the battle hammer's knocking that thing. This is my good buddy Sepp, my Viking brother. We are Vikings.
Oh.
double-bladed heavy axe. Flawless victory, brutality. You don't want to get hit with this thing. So now we got this ballistic head with shoulders. We got this badass battle axe. I'm gonna try to cut this thing in half this way. Yeah! We all know that the Vikings are brutal warriors, but there was one thing, they were great warriors on horses too. Them and their horses had a special bond. Check out mine. This is my well-fed horse, Brutus. He is very well-fed.
Nay.
Go on and eat. Come on. Sometimes I like to get on you. Don't you do that again now. You hear? You gotta feed them good. This is a good warrior horse right there. You feed them good, and they're gonna back you in battle. We gotta saddle them up real nice. Good job, Brutus.
Nay.
So now prepare to see the Viking and his horse in action in battle. Yeah! Viking victor! Yeah!
Ah! Yeah. All right.
So as a kid, I loved hearing about the Vikings and Viking stories. They've always been one of my favorite types of people. But not all the Vikings were created equal. Some were a little bit less, let's just say warrior-like, and others were brutal and everyone was terrified of them. Check out the more or less fit one. On the lowest end of the spectrum of the Vikings, but now we're going to go to the highest end, like the special forces of the Vikings, the psychos, the nutballs, the Navy SEALs. These were called Berserkers, and I'm going to tell you, everybody was scared to death of these guys. Not only the enemy, but even the Vikings were scared, because sometimes after they got done killing all the enemy, they'd turn on the Vikings, because these guys are such psychos. I mean, they were literally trained to ignore pain. They'd get shot with arrows, stabbed, and they'd keep fighting to the death. These guys are crazy. There was one instance on Stanford Bridge where one berserker on a bridge held off almost an entire army. I think he killed like 50 or 60 guys before they finally got him. So these berserkers, they would wear like wolf heads and bear heads, and they'd sometimes be naked, and they'd run around with like paint on them. They scared the enemy so much that sometimes they wouldn't even fight, they'd just turn around and run. So these berserkers, they were absolutely crazy. They were so aggressive that when they had a battle hammer, they would just beat trees and beat the ground and anything they seen. They were kind of like a combination of Bam Bam and like a Tasmanian devil. Massively aggressive. now we're going to show you us putting a Berserker into battle. And again, there's several instances where these Berserkers would actually turn on the Vikings themselves. I mean, these guys were real crazy. Check this out in action. Berserkers, these guys are real psychopaths. So when these Berserkers were in the middle of battle going crazy, nothing would stop them. There's only one thing they would listen to, and that's the battle horn. Once they heard this battle horn, it was like something programmed in their head. They would instantly stop and come back and regroup. Looks like that guy's biggest battle is how much you could stuff in his gut in one sitting. So not only are Berserkers aggressive and they're big time warriors, but they're actually pretty smart too. Look at this one. He's luring on the well-fed Viking with a turkey, and it actually worked.
I think I finally lost that freak.